Yes, you are listening to the Ready, Set, Retire radio podcast with Steve Anzuoni. My name is Jessica Forkel. Get more details on the website at fairwayfinancial.net.
We've seen a lot of different athletes do this over the years where they defer things. I've heard about a lot of actors doing this as well these days, deferring until later. So it got me thinking about it, just us little people, right? Regular folks. Is there something that we can do to help defer with our retirement plan?
Well, I mean, a lot of people who have very large IRAs or 401ks take a similar approach and they defer it as long as they can till 73, and then they take the minimum distribution. Or some people are even more proactive, and what they'll do is they'll carve out a piece. So say they got, a $2 million 401k, right? And they got, Social Security and all that stuff and no debt. They'll carve out maybe 25% of that, put it in a deferred guaranteed income annuity, or as I like to call it, a personal pension, and they'll defer that until, 4 or 5 years, start taking a guaranteed cash flow from that, and then take the minimum distributions from the rest of the pile, and you're still at that level, you're well over $100,000 a year plus. Some of my clients have even taken the Roth conversion approach, Jess. So while let's say you just retired and you're in that gap where your income has gone from, 150, 250 down to say 75, 80. So they're taking advantage of that and they're doing little pieces of Roth conversions, for the next 5 years, let's say. And then they're able to create a tax-free pile of money that they're not required to take minimum distributions on. It's a really interesting strategy, and it's funny we're bringing this up because, like I said, we've had a lot of radio calls, and I had 24 meetings last week.
Very busy. Lots of people need info.
An all-time record for me. 24 meetings in 1 week, believe me. But I enjoyed it. I loved it. I stayed till 7:30, 8 o'clock some nights. I didn't care. I love helping people, obviously, and we had some great conversations, and many of them centered around getting more income, more guaranteed income, because the market is so hot right now, it's still near or at an all-time high. So a lot of these savvy investors are like, I'm going to take some of the money off the table, if you will, put it in these income annuities I've heard about. And depending on your age, some of these people are getting a guaranteed 8.5% return for life on an income check. I mean, that is just tough to argue about. It really is. I've had some, I'm talking MBA people, like some really savvy people call me up and say, all right, what are these things? They start out very like, what are you talking about? And then by the end of the conversation, they're like, wow, this is a pretty good deal, Steve. And I said, yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, but there's nothing wrong with taking a piece and creating cash flow. So
sure,
very busy week. Most of it's centered around that. And, is it a good time now, Steve, to take my winnings off the table? And I wish I had a crystal ball. I don't know. The market could still rocket more. I don't know where it's going to go. However, there's nothing wrong with taking profits. Nothing wrong with it. It's good to take a profit than to have it go back down and then wait for it to come back up sometimes. Don't get, what's the saying? Pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. And I hear that a lot from Mark Cuban when I'm watching Shark Tank. And what he means by that is it's okay to be a little greedy. Don't get too greedy, because if you're a pig that becomes a hog, you get slaughtered.
That's right.
And so it's pretty savvy advice from a billionaire himself. But it just makes sense. So if this makes sense to any of you listening out there and you want to create your own personal, quote-unquote, pension plan, as I call it, give us a call and find out more information. That's what these people did. They made a phone call, and they were already pretty successful with, $1 million, $2 million in 401ks and IRAs. So get the facts. That's what the people with the money do. They find out information, they investigate, and then if it makes sense for them, they invest in it. So I look forward to having you call me, come down, and we'll have a conversation and a chat, and I'll be happy to explain how it works.
And you can give a call today. Again, 508-552-3230, 508-552-3230. The best part about this, guys, when you call in to get more information about creating your own personal pension, discussing these guaranteed income opportunities, it's complimentary. 508-552-3230. That website, again, fairwayfinancial.net. You know, Steve, you often tell us that as we're nearing retirement, we should take our foot off the risk pedal in our portfolio. But at what age should you consider this? Morningstar's Christine Benz says it's really something you need to start thinking about after the age of 50.
When we look at the data on when people retire, when they think they'll retire relative to when they actually do retire, we see there's a disconnect that oftentimes people are thinking they will hang on longer than they are able to do or want to do. And so I think at age 50, you do want to start de-risking your portfolio a little bit, not altogether, because you could have 45 or more years where you are still going to be wanting to grow that portfolio. But as you move into sort of your late 50s, early 60s, I like the idea of building a bulwark of safer assets.
Okay. First things first here. Do you agree with this age timeline, Steve? And what kind of safer assets can de-risk a portfolio?
I don't know. I wouldn't use the word de-risk. I would look at readjusting because most people are in deferment mode. They're in saving mode, 401k, build the money. And that's huge, and it's very important. And 50 is a significant number. It's the first year where you can add more to the regular 401k amount, and then at age 60, you can bump it up even more. So they're called catch-up provisions. So honestly, I don't meet a lot of people who retire at 50 or 55. Most of the people I meet are hardworking people who have been somewhere for 25, 30 years. A few self-employed people, too, who they don't want to leave their work because they own the company. And, it's like, why would you want to leave? You got to figure out what you're going to do. I mean, in my opinion, and I know I'm in the retirement planning business, Jess, but I have no goals or thoughts as to when I'm going to retire because I enjoy doing what I'm doing. It's not, I get up, I do my thing, I have my routine, I like it. I like being in the studio. I like giving my talks at seminars that I conduct. I mean, a few weeks ago, we had 64 people come over 2 nights. I mean, are you kidding me?
It's crazy. Yeah.
Why would I give that up? I mean, you got these people out there looking for information. And now I've got over 35 years of experience. So the more experience I have, the more people want to talk to me because I know more. Why would I stop? It's like a doctor who's gotten so good, right? They do surgery for the richest of rich. They do surgery for baseball teams, for hockey teams, for whatever. They're not going anywhere soon. It'd be
right,
nuts.
Exactly,
I mean,
yeah.
They're at the peak of their knowledge. And so, my situation obviously is a little different, but most people I meet, if they're happy at work, they plan on staying there till at least mid-60s, 70. And the only ones I meet that, want to get out are people who not necessarily want to retire tomorrow, but are looking to maybe switch careers, maybe to do something that they enjoyed as a hobby and, put a little more effort in that. Because, I don't know, I just feel that retirement is overrated sometimes. You got to keep busy. If you don't have a hobby, like I have a friend of mine that I met on this Viking river cruise. And I got to tell you, people, I got some great advice from clients many years ago. And they said to me, Steve, travel now. Don't wait till you're 65, 70. Get out there, see the world, and travel. And I took their advice. And while Tracy and I were amongst the youngest people on this particular cruise, by the way, we did one from in France, Lyon to Lyon. It was just a gorgeous river cruise. And I'll give a shout out to Viking. They did an amazing job. You hear that, Viking? I'm shouting out to you. Give me a break on the next trip.
Come endorse the show, yeah.
But seriously, it was a lot of fun. We met some really, really nice people. As a matter of fact, some people were from Massachusetts. He owned a car dealership along with his wife, and he literally just retired like 3 weeks ago. So we talked about it, and I says, Tim, what are your plans, man? I mean, you've been doing this for so long. He goes, well, Steve, I'm very lucky. He goes, I'm an amateur painter. I love painting. And now I have more time. And you should see some of the work he does. It's unbelievable. We bought a nice painting for our house, and we'll probably buy another one for the office. But he said he has more time to focus on what he loves to do rather than what brought him in the most money. And he's financially set. He's fine now. And he's busy now. That's the key. He's busy. Yes, you need the money, but you need to be busy too, Jess.
Absolutely. You got to have that plan for what you're going to do in retirement. And just to kind of bring this back full circle, of course, talking about taking, your foot off that risk pedal, especially as you get closer to that retirement finish line. You mentioned Tim here. He was able to retire. He's living his best life, doing the Vikings cruise, and he's doing his hobbies. All of that because he did the proper planning and he took the proper steps.
Right.
So he knew that, hey, if I'm going to retire this year or next year, I got to back up a little bit because the market is unpredictable. As great as it's going right now, it can change on a dime, and that could wreck your whole plan.
So what I was getting at is, I don't know if de-risk is the right word, or to reevaluate your portfolio and start thinking about income planning instead of just accumulation planning. And there is a major difference between the two. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but is a major difference, not only in the products you should look at, but the structure and how to set it up. And that's why, most of my shows focus around the same thing, Jess, and it's because there's a reason for it. It's because it's so important to think differently when you get into your 50s, especially. And if you're already, 60, 62, 63, it's not too late. I'm just saying, the sooner you think about it, the better you can pre-position things. And, some of these products, like I mentioned earlier, like those people who were taking a piece of their portfolio, putting it in a income product, one that's designed for lifetime income. And, if you're married, for both of you, single, just for you. But that's what you want to start thinking about. I mean, you're trying to replace your paycheck. So if you can replace your paycheck with Social Security and with another piece that maybe makes up 80 or 90% of your income, you've got it much better going forward than if you're trying to replace your income with assets that don't guarantee the replacement of that income. That's all I'm saying, is you want to adjust it. And by the way, 7-8% return for life on a paycheck? I'm sorry, what's wrong with that picture? Nothing. And that's net, all right? I mean, that's no, that's no fees, no this, no that. That's the check you get. Now, obviously, if it's an IRA, you're paying taxes, but you're going to do that anyway in a 401k. That's all I'm saying, is be smart, be aware, get information, okay? Knowledge helps. It creates more confidence for you as a investor, as a future retiree, to know more. And the more good information you get, the better you're going to be. That's the bottom line. So if you want that good stuff, if you want to see what's out there from many, many companies that we represent, because we are independent, and you really need to be independent to do, in my opinion, the best job for somebody, then you want to get that info for someone who's been around the block and who can represent several companies. So with that, seriously, give a call. What's it going to hurt? You're going to pick up the phone. You're going to dial a number. You're going to say, hey, I heard Steve on the show. I'd like to have him give me a buzz, or I'd like to come in and see him in his office in Hyannis. That's it, and it'll be worth the trip, okay? I'll tell you right now, you will learn something at my meeting. Whether I can help you that day or not, you're going to pick up some information, and information's always good.
Absolutely. I mean, as we talk about all the time, knowledge is power. It's going to help you make these big, big, big decisions when it comes to your income, your retirement. We talked a little bit about, de-risking your portfolio, pumping the brakes on the risk, essentially. So first things first, come in for that risk analysis. Let's see really where you stand. And then that's when you talk to Steve and say, all right, so we know my risk. Now let's talk about replacing my paycheck in retirement. That phone number, 508-552-3230. That's 508-552-3230. The website, fairwayfinancial.net. Real quick, Steve, what would you say would be, I guess your elevator pitch to somebody that is kind of starting the process? They've heard the show a few times. They know that you've been in this industry, like you said, over 35 years. What's your elevator pitch of why they should come and sit with you?
You want to come and sit with me because I can take the pieces that you have in retirement and make sense of them for you, lay out a strategy, a plan, if you will, to show you how you can generate more income in the future and put you on a path that's going to give you greater financial confidence in the future than where you're at now.
Get more details on the website, fairwayfinancial.net. That's fairwayfinancial.net.
Steve Anzuoni is a licensed insurance provider by the Division of Insurance and is not registered as an investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve Anzuoni, Massachusetts Insurance License 3851053. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Read your contract for restrictions, limitations, or penalties. Steve Anzuoni is not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Steve Anzuoni is licensed in your state, please call 508-398-3337.